Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we break down the crypto revolution that's reshaping the world. I am Zip and thrilled to have you here. Today, we're tying together some massive developments that scream one thing. The financial system is pivoting hard to crypto, and projects like Ripple and XRP are leading the charge. If you're wondering why you should jump into XRP or other real world use case cryptos right now, or if you're already invested and need a reason to stay bullish, this video is for you. Of course, nothing I say is financial advice, but this is just my conversation as to why I am excited for this asset class and where it is going. We'll start with Ripple's latest moves, proving their tech is compliant, scalable, and trusted by large banks. Then we're going to connect the dots to the Nasdaq's blockbuster filing for tokenized stocks. And then we're going to look at Eric Trump, bold endorsement, and a wave of other events showing finance is modernizing on the blockchain rails. By the end of this, you'll see that this asset class is not about hype. It's really a $1 trillion opportunity for profits that you and I can take advantage of. Now, please remember to hit that like button. And if you're excited, drop a comment as to why you're excited about this space when we get done with this. Let's dive into the news and see what's going on. So we're going to kick it off with Ripple, the undisputed king of real-world crypto utility, in my opinion. If you think XRP is just another token, take another look, think again. It's the bridge for fast, cheap, cross-border payments, and now secure asset custody as well. Remember, as you can see up on the screen, this is from Smoke. Back in 2017, Ripple made history with BBVA, one of Europe's biggest banks. They ran the world's first real-time international money transfer using blockchain, sending real funds from Spain to Mexico in seconds. This wasn't a test. This was live on BBVA's systems, only proving Ripple's distributed ledger tech, powered by, you guessed it, XRP, could handle regulated, compliant transactions without the headaches of old school wires. The old system that we talk about that is being updated right now. And now we have this. Fast forward to September 2025. If you're looking back on this, Ripple just deepened this partnership in a huge way. As we see here, BBVA is now deploying Ripple custody to let Spanish retail customers safely store and trade Bitcoin and Ether, directly through their banking app. Why Spain? It's got 15 million crypto users this year, fueled by regulatory stability. It's why the regulation is so important. And this ties straight into the EU's MiCA regulations, which demand ironclad security. Over 65% of crypto firms are now compliant in Europe, with the European digital asset market space projected to hit $1.8 trillion. What does this show? Total confidence in Ripple and XRP. BBVA's stuck with them for nearly a decade now. Remember, they have been testing and working use case behind the scenes. Because why? Ripple continues to deliver scalable tech that integrates seamlessly with TradFi, reduced risks, and it opens the doors for mainstream adoption. XRP, it's not speculative. It's the liquidity engine, that will drive and make these payments and custodies possible, lowering barriers for banks and users alike. Now, this is not an isolated case. It's part of Ripple's global push from Turkey to Switzerland, proving XRP's real-world use cases in compliant environments. You know, if you are brand new to this environment, brand new to crypto, this is why XRP stands out. Do your homework, do your research. It's not a meme coin. You know, it's infrastructure banks are going to bet on. Ripple's BBVA deal isn't just a win for XRP and those of us that hold it. It's a microcosm of how crypto is infiltrating traditional finance. Think about it. Banks like BBVA are using blockchain for custody and payments because it's faster, it's cheaper, it's absolutely more transparent than this old clunky legacy system that we have. Spain's surge of 15 million users shows demand for bank-backed crypto services is coming and is coming strong, challenging the old narrative that, you know, crypto is the unregulated wild, wild west. This builds confidence across the board. Ripple's tech, often fueled by XRP, validates reduced regulatory risks and broader acceptance in Europe. And it's not alone. The RWA tokenization market, you know, that for new folks, that's real world assets, has exploding and is exploding and is expected to grow up to 300, you know, it has already grown 380% since 2022, but is expected in the future, 2033, to be worth trillions of dollars. You know, that is trillions in potential stocks, bonds, funds that are going to go on chain, which you will see here in a minute. You know, for investors, if you're eyeing real use case crypto like XRP, this is the green light. If you're sitting on the sidelines, these projects solve real world problems. That's why I love them. Cross-border efficiency, secure storage, driving adoption, and value. Existing, if you're holding XRP or other real use crypto, hold on tight, because institutional inflows mean not only XRP could see massive upside in Europe, but others, as this switch begins to flip. Now, moving on to more exciting news and what is going on big picture. Let's zoom back in to the US of A. This is where things are really picking up steam here, ladies and gentlemen. We see now the Nasdaq, the world's largest stock exchange, filed absolutely game-changing proposal with the SEC to do what? To tokenize, enable tokenization of the Nasdaq on blockchain-based systems, you know, listing these stocks on these blockchains. Absolutely huge. What does this mean? Investors could basically soon trade tokenized versions of Apple, Tesla shares directly on the Nasdaq using blockchain for settlement. You know, no more waiting for days for trades. You know, think in the future, instantaneous 24/7 global access, which initially we're going to hear here in a minute. They've already stated they're going to go to a 24/5 trading method. Things are picking up speed. And this is all, again, staying fully regulated, but just putting these tokenized assets on the blockchains, these securities. You know, Nasdaq CEO Adena Friedman called it an extraordinary opportunity for the global system. Let's listen to what she has to say here.
So this morning we announced that we're going to be bringing tokenization into our market. So making sure that equities are tokenized and traded on market, in the markets, not in a side sleeve, but actually in the core markets.
So the eventual goal, or is it today? 24/7, 365 equities, just let it rip constantly.
I mean, I think we are all moving in that direction. We announced several months ago that we're moving to 24/5. So we're
24/5.
moving that way.
So Saturday and Sunday,
Not for equities yet. I think that, we have to, we're walking before we run. But I think that getting to 24/5 is a major advancement for the US equities markets. And then on top of that, now with tokenization, if we can introduce that also into the markets, it allows us to really think about streamlining the post-trade processing, bringing and modernizing elements of the markets that have a lot of friction. We are hyper resilient and we're hyper scaled. We manage, like today, we had 95 billion messages come into our systems today. And we had a median, return time of 20 microseconds.
Absolutely exciting, modernizing the markets, not just the financial system and how we move money, modernizing all this. For crypto, this is absolutely huge. This has got to be a 9 out of a 10 on the impact scale. Nasdaq handles 20 to 25 trillion in annual volume. Even partial tokenization could unlock hundreds of billions of dollars in RWAs initially, with 10 trillion projections again by 2030. It legitimizes blockchain, funnels TradFi liquidity into the crypto rails using projects in crypto like XRP, XLM, and it boosts tokens powering this. If you're invested in these products, the market reaction is going to be huge to this and absolutely exciting to see. Now let's tie it back to Ripple. Just like BBVA's custody uses blockchain for compliance, Nasdaq moved bridges in the TradFi and DeFi environment. XRP's payment prowess could absolutely integrate here for cross-border stock settlements. Think about the big picture and where we're going. This is absolutely not fringe. It's the floodgates opening, modernizing finance, and supercharging projects like XRP. Other news going on out there and what's going on big time with the Trumps and what they have going on. Eric Trump, which we're going to listen to here in a minute, dropping a mic drop statement moment out here, stating that crypto is the future of our financial system. This is what we have been speaking about for months and months and months. This is not casual. It's a political pivot, from the Trump family. We're seeing what's going on, who have launched products like World Liberty Financial. With the influence rising, it signals the US policy absolutely is hot on crypto as a modernization tool. And it's not alone. Here's we're going to talk about some other things that are happening after we listen to Eric and what he has to say about changing the financial system and how crypto is at the front end of that.
The modern financial system is changing every single day, and crypto is rewriting the rules.
Yeah, no, and certainly it is something that we've seen.
Crypto is rewriting the rules. And what else have we seen that is rewriting the rules in the last 6 months as this thing accelerates and that flywheel picks up? We've had, banks can dive into crypto activities without prior approval now, as long as their risks are managed. And we're seeing that, unlocking institutional participation. The SEC with Chairman Paul Atkins, again in August, a super app framework, a license for trading stocks, tokenized assets, and crypto, streamlining on-chain finance. Google's cloud project and blockchain launch, a layer 1 for institutions piloting tokenized assets, along with the CME group as part of that. We're seeing all of this movement and a ton of ETF proposals getting ready to drop, coming to us in October, hopefully. All of this, and along with the Clarity Act, that regulation in the framework of how to utilize all of this environment. These are not coincidences. They're dominoes dropping, from Ripple's compliant custody to Nasdaq's tokenization and the Trump administration's nod. Finance is going on-chain for efficiency, transparency, and profits. The old system, obsolete. We don't need it. It's going to get deleted. 100%. That is what is going on. So what does that mean for you? That's what you care about. That's why you're watching this. The financial systems pivot to crypto isn't coming. It's here. Ripple's BBVA project and wins here show XRP's real world muscle in compliant payments and custody. They're building institutional trust. Nasdaq's filing and Eric Trump's comments and all the Trump's comments with events like FDIC greenlighting and the Fed discussions proving blockchain is the new backbone of finance. You have to see this. It's impossible to miss at this point, quite honestly. If you're brand new and you're sitting on the fence, right now you need to take a really good look at projects, real world utility projects like XRP, XLM, Hedera, a lot of the other ones that I speak to, but XRP is going to be big, in my opinion, not financial advice, but you know, these really aren't gambles. Is there some risk involved? Absolutely. But it's not a gamble when we look at the bigger macro and what is being built in this environment and who is supporting it. You know, these are utility projects powering trillions, and they're going to power trillions of dollars in tokenized assets. Real use cases mean steady adoption, lower volatility, and explosive growth as banks are going to pile in. If you're already invested, congratulations. You should be absolutely bullish, you know, with $30 trillion of RWA projections by, 2034, XRP is going to explode, along with many other real world use case projects and crypto in general, as all boats lift in a rising tide, and that tide is coming up fast. Profits, think institutional inflows, driving prices to new highs. Those are the ETFs that are going to be coming on board. Do not sleep on this revolution. Think about it, examine it, study it, get in and be excited. What do you all think? Are you bullish on XRP? Are you bullish on crypto? Tell me which ones. Drop them in the comments below. Like this video if you're absolutely fired up, because the best is absolutely yet to come. Going into Q4, again, that's still what I am looking at. Into 2026, we are going to see a tsunami of growth, I do believe, in this asset class. And now is the time to make sure that you are safe, you are secure, and you have your strategy, your system planned out for whatever you decide to do, whether it's to exit a little bit, take a little bit off of the top, but recommendation, I would not sell all of it. And I would look for ways that are tax incentivized to maybe leverage that crypto if you can hold on a little longer, as all of this is absolutely coming together in a big way. Now, again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the new subscribers, all the comments, all the likes. We're going to continue to grow this thing, and I'm going to continue to bring you the latest updates and give you that macro picture. We'll be talking about exit strategies, my philosophy on that, and just keeping you positive, keeping you locked on. But until next time, Zip is out.